The beef thing is all something that people created outside of her and I, you know. Even when we were around each other at the label, we were always nice to each other. We never had beef, but even then people were making it into something that it wasn't. And no, there's no
Fact, and ladies and gentlemen, that was how the label started focusing on Rihanna and stopped focusing on Tiara for her part. Rihanna was actually singing Beyoncé's praises over and over and over.
And so has she given you any kind of advice or?
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me, just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control.
In a different interview, Rihanna also gushed, so apparently Rihanna sort of has Beyoncé to thank for kickstarting her career, but unfortunately it was at the expense of another equally talented rising star, Tiara. Marie and
I'm Rihanna, and we had a showcase, and at the showcase there were two artists performing. Her name is Tiara Marie, and she's a really sweet girl, and the truth is I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna.
After the showcase, Queen Bey knew exactly who she preferred between Rihanna and Tiara, and she made her choice very well known to L.A. Reid.
You know, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, that Rihanna girl, she's a beast. And she looked away, right? And I was like...
Just one of those things that everyone dreams to do in their musical career. And here I am at 19 years old with the #1 single and featuring Jay-Z. It's just, I can't fathom it sometimes. It's just too much for me to, it's overwhelming sometimes.
There were even reports that Jay-Z started hitting on Riri and had an affair with her, while Rihanna's publicist also said that they came up with the rumor to push Rihanna's career by saying at that time, Rihanna and the lovely young lady named Tiara Marie. According to L.A. Reid, they had an in-house company showcase, and Beyoncé happened to be there with Jay-Z and Tiara Marie Rihanna, a 4-girl group called Black Butterfly and Neo at the label. They actually thought Tiara Marie would be the big R, and they spent more time on her, did more work on her, and paid more attention to her. Remember, Rihanna already had a hit with Pon de Replay, but they still thought it was Tiara Marie who would be a bigger star. However, after the showcase, Beyoncé went to L.A. Reid and everything changed. It wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyoncé said that to me. Yeah, about how the artist should be like Beyoncé.
The first thing I saw, was her beauty and how beautiful she was. And then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be or strive to be like.
Well, according to fans, Beyoncé probably didn't expect that Rihanna would be such a big star, and that also became a problem. But even before that, Rihanna was also getting a little too close to Jay-Z.
Working with Jay and having a collaboration with him is
So I did a Rihanna double take.
Okay, but did quail motives when she told L.A. Reid that Rihanna was a beast, because according to some people, she definitely felt threatened by Tiara Marie's talent and basically just sabotaged her. Especially after Jay called her Princess of the Rock. Truth be told, Tiara Marie was on the fast track to becoming the next big superstar with 2 hits already under her belt. So it's not that hard to believe that she was kind of sabotaged, especially since people kept comparing her to Rihanna and saying that they had beef. Well, back in the day, Tiara sat down with Beyonce and revealed details about her relationship with Rihanna, stating that there was no beef. In an email, the PR stunt that I did was out of desperation to help break upon the replay. It was reckless, and I didn't think it was gonna work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. The publicist also said that they didn't think it would be that big of a story, but seeing Beyoncé suffer and knowing that people were profiting from speculations and opinions about her really turned his stomach in. Addition, Rihanna started to become more popular than Beyoncé, and apparently Queen Bey felt threatened, and that is when their beef escalated. And guess what? Rihanna also got the same medicine Tiara got, because Beyoncé also turned on her, allegedly. Jay-Z and Beyond Beyoncé went behind Rihanna's back and leaked her album Anti-prematurely to help prop up Beyoncé's formation. Anti-leaked on Tidal, the streaming service, which is owned by the Carters, earlier than it was expected to, which led to Rihanna releasing it herself, offering up free downloads for fans to hear the album without paying for it. Then at the title press conference around the same time, an insider talked about what was going on behind the scenes, saying they refused to stand next to each other or speak with each other. Handlers and coordinators went to great lengths to keep the divas happy. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two had almost nothing to do with each other. So basically, Beyoncé sort of made the label pick Rihanna over Tiara because she apparently felt threatened, and then Rihanna just went ahead and took over, and followers definitely agree that she did. Tiara dirty, as one person wrote, they smile in your face but be plotting, behind your back. Beyoncé did Tiara dirty, and another person added IDK about that. Tiara was actually the label favorite, literally, up until Beyoncé put a bag in La Reed's ear that she saw something in Rihanna Beyoncé out here starting and ending careers as for the reason they gave Tiara for dropping her. They said her debut album sales didn't look promising. Her album sold 69,000 copies in the first week, but the album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard. She specifically said that Rihanna was not the reason why she was dropped from their label.
I don't think that any of my fans should feel any sort of negative way towards Rihanna because she has nothing to do with my situation. She's not the reason that I got dropped.
Well, even to this day, several fans believe that it was supposedly Queen Bey who was responsible for getting her dropped, and L.A. Reid kinda confirmed that in an excerpt from his memoir, Sing to Me, My Story of Making Music, Finding Magic, and Searching for Who's Next. L.A. Reid wrote that when he first met Rihanna, he just laid eyes on her in the hallway, and he didn't know that she was a singer or anything. She was just a pretty girl standing outside someone's office. Jay-Z had already heard Rihanna sing, so he pushed for her to be signed L.A. Reid also wrote after signing Rihanna Jay-Z, and his team did the A&R for her first album. I had nothing to do with it. The funny thing about Rihanna's success was that we signed 2 girls at Billboard 200 and number 2 on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums chart, which some would say is pretty decent for a new artist. But you know what the crazy part is about Rihanna's debut album, Music of the Sun? Also sold the same amount as Tiara's album, selling 69,000 copies in the first week, but Tiara was dropped over the phone on her prom night.
What happened was I got dropped from Rockefeller on my prom day. You know, they didn't know. Getting ready for the prom? Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh.
Far as her relationship with Jay-Z, Tiara Marie said that there was nothing personal between the two. Aside from business, she actually said that she rarely met with Jay-Z after she left the label, according to her. The reason that she left the label was because the executives from The Rock felt that they could not do enough for her career. Tiara Marie also felt that it was best for her to move on, and she said that she could not fault Jay-Z for simply doing business while she didn't have much to say about Beyoncé, and in case you were wondering why your guess is as good as mine. But just to be fair, some people also said that Tiara's marketing was just off from the beginning. Even if Beyoncé may have whispered something to L.A. Reid, I mean, she was 15, 16 singing about how a man could make her feel good intimately, while Rihanna had cute, lighthearted dance songs that were appropriate for a 16-year-old singer. And her audience plus Tiara could have used her platform on Love and Hip Hop to relaunch her career, but instead she earned a reputation as someone who was difficult to work with and very volatile. Eventually, it all caught up with her when she faced jail time for allegedly assaulting a rideshare driver. I think the heavy drinking and the drama stemmed from her breakup with Ray J. After their 7-year-long relationship, her heartbreak seemed to go unnoticed by her castmates as a reason for her downward spiral on the show, which kind of surprised me. Heartbreak manifests itself in many ways, and for her it seemed to show up in her self-destructive behavior. Well, that's another story for another day, guys. But what are your thoughts? Do you also wonder if Bey gave more of a push for Rihanna instead of Tiara because she thought Rihanna wouldn't end up being such a big star if that's the case? I can only imagine how much that disappointed Beyoncé, on the other hand, do you believe? People are giving Babe way too much credit for ruining Tiara Marie's career. I'd really like to know your thoughts, so sound off in the comments section below.